Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. In today's video, we are sharing another really big hurdle and challenge that we are facing as nomads. As you all must know by now, there are major world events at play that are really challenging for any travelers, especially full-time travelers without a home. We're going to be getting into the latest news this week. I hope you'll stay tuned for the whole video. It ain't pretty, but we're going to be honest.
If you watch our channel with any regularity, you'll know that typically we talk about our prior month's spending on the second Wednesday of every month. Well, it's the second Wednesday of the month. And because this subject is so present with us right now, we're going to push that numbers conversation out 1 week, and we'll be talking about those next week.
I am sorry that we pushed that off, but it's like one of those please stay tuned, like emergency message coming through your TV station. That's kind of what this is. Yeah, so I know that a lot of our audience follows along with what's happening on our journey and also looking forward to maybe their own nomadic journey. What does life look like? Well, again, life is looking pretty ugly right now, although we are in a really nice situation. So just to back up a teeny tiny bit, we have now had 4 canceled sits. We've been talking about 2 or 3 canceled sits. Well, sure enough, yesterday morning, we got notice that a 1-month house sit in Orlando is in fact canceling because of world events, we're gonna call it. Anyway, very good reason, completely nice homeowners, like super legit. But in the meantime, that leaves us without a plan. And we're gonna get into what our plan B and C look like because those were failures as well.
We are currently in Phoenix, Arizona in a great sit. It's 8 nights that we're here. This is the longest time we've been in any one place since we got off our cruise, which was 9 nights, and we are thrilled to be here. And next week we're going to New Orleans. We're going to be there for 2 weeks. Can't wait to be there for 2 weeks. And then our plan was to drive over to Orlando and be there for a month. And that month is what canceled, and man, it's tough. We hope we learned some lessons from the month that canceled in February.
Yeah.
And we're finally in the midst of recovering from that, and now we have to go and figure out how to make this new thing happen after our Orlando sit canceled.
So I think it's important to not just share what's happening on the other side. So we are not asking our audience to bail us out or anything like that. We want to share what is happening in the moment because it is nasty. And we do know, looking back, we will be like, oh, we figured it out. We know this, but it might cost us quite a bit of money to figure it out, but we could do that. So it's not like we are going to be like sleeping under a bridge.
I'm going to say that actually what we decided after the Sonoma sit canceled for us, we decided...
That's our February sit.
That's our February sit that canceled. That was a month-long sit, is that we were going way too fast, and so it took us 5 different locations to replace that month-long sit.
With flights between every one of them.
It was just too much travel. So what we said is if this happens again, like it's happened, we're probably going to spend some money and try and stay in one place for a longer period of time. So we started doing some research on making that happen as soon as we found out yesterday, and it's going to be more challenging than we thought. Okay. It's just there's lots of pieces to this puzzle.
And I'm going to get into what is up with our plan B and plan C. So our lessons that we learned from last month's cancellation: stay in a place for at least 7 nights. And it's very specific to house sitting. If we were in hotels or Airbnbs, I don't know that we really need to be in a specific place for that long. It's a very different situation house sitting because you have to get used to the house, you have to get used to the pets have to get used to you have to clean up the house. So because of all of those extra things, it is so far above and beyond a normal Airbnb kind of a situation that I think we're okay in an Airbnb for less. It's a house sit that we've learned. We don't want to be in a house sit for any less than 7 nights. And we're not going to be like 100% to that letter, but in general, we're going to really try to do that because we learned that too much shorter than 7 nights is too much hustling for us. So we learned that. We learned that we don't want a ton of pets. Like maybe 2 dogs is we could have 2 dogs and maybe an easy cat or like kind of like other easy pets. But a lot of dogs is a lot of work if we're walking all these dogs and they all have the dogs have a lot of routine, and a lot of dogs is a lot more routine. So we've also learned that we don't want to be like flying from place to place. So we've taken all those lessons that we have just learned and we're bringing them into our like new situation. Yep. So here's our plan B was, okay, let's just take a 1-month Airbnb. So if we have our month sit canceled because we saw this coming. The couple was going to be in Tokyo and on a cruise, and we're like, this is probably going to cancel.
The couple at the sit that canceled.
That's right. The Florida sit that we just got word of yesterday, we kind of knew like this could cancel. We were in touch with them. In fact, it did, and it makes sense. But we were going to go to an Airbnb for like a month. Now, here's the deal with Airbnb. When you do a whole month...
Before we talk, so something we've often said before, and this is part of our plan, is just to go to a cheaper part of the world. So we potentially were going to go to Mexico, or we're going to go to South America or something like that. We found some cheap flights to get to Mexico. We found some cheap flights to get to South America, to some locations there. The problem is we're fearful, because we have some commitments back in the States later in May, that if we leave the country because of what's going on, for some reason they may not let us back in, and then we wouldn't be able to fulfill our obligations that we have here in the States in May. And so we certainly want to do that. We also have a flight in May that takes us to the UK, and so we want to be here to get on that flight. Something else that's a new dynamic for us: when we get to New Orleans, we will have our car back, and so we didn't have that while we were out here on the West Coast, so we had to fly from spot to spot to spot. So that adds some flexibility to our life, but I pay for parking if we stay at a hotel or things like this, depending on where we are. So there's all these dynamics that are playing in, but going to a cheaper place, like leaving the United States, we X that off of our list of things to do.
Unfortunately, because that was high in our plan B.
That
would have
was
been
our plan B.
Leave the country, go to Mexico, go for a month to Mexico. We have friends. We have friends in a lot of different places. This would be easy if we knew that we could come back, which we don't. So that was probably our initial plan B. That was challenging, but I think we crossed that off. The next plan is to do a 1 month Airbnb and kind of throw money at this problem. Well, we're not in the most expensive part of America. We just left California, which kind of is, and we were not surprised. I guess even then we were surprised by the high cost of a month. We knew that it would be high. It was even higher than we thought for a month at an Airbnb. But the Southeast, we kind of thought it would be very affordable, and we'd even done some looking. Here is what is unique about this situation, and what we really want to share is if you book an Airbnb for like a month, you get often a 30, 40, 50, I've seen 70% off if you book an entire month. The challenge is a month, 28 days in advance. Any decent Airbnb has something on the books. So they don't just have their whole month wide open, and if they do, it doesn't look very nice, or they don't have any reviews, which we've learned we do not do that. So we are just looking. And so what we're finding is we thought we would be able to find something for like maybe $1,200, $1,500 in these parts of the world, and we're not looking to be in the middle of nowhere in South Carolina or Georgia, but we're somewhere between like North Carolina and Florida, and we're looking to be near something, maybe near Tampa or Orlando, Savannah, Charleston, Atlanta, near something, not in the middle of nothing for a whole month, just kind of stuck. And in any of these places, we're not looking for like fabulous spots, but just even like for a studio apartment with free parking for our car, not even a washer, dryer, like nothing fancy, just a studio that looks nice in a place that we might want to be. We're looking at $2,500+. So the challenge is that they're not even looking at. So like that's and 2,500 is not even looking at. Like we're not even finding nice places for 2,500, or we're not finding places we want to be for 2,500. We're looking more for like $3,000 a month. And if you do follow us enough, you know that $3,000 is kind of like what we spend the whole month or less. So to just pop out $3,000, we're planning to do it, but we're not thrilled about it.
Also, we obviously have points and miles. We talk about that quite a bit. And we could actually throw points at this problem as well. But similarly, the points don't go very far here in the States. The points that we've earned at Marriott or Hilton or IHG, those points go a lot further abroad. So we feel sort of guilty about blowing through our points.
Actually, it's not that. It's also not prudent.
Well, it's just right. It's just not. We consider that like it's a currency. It's sort of like a bank of currency that we have, and so spending it here would not be a very efficient way to spend that money.
Spending it here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S. would not be a very efficient way to spend the money, and so we're hesitant about that.
And we blow through our points really quickly.
And we would blow through them really quickly.
It's not like we have unlimited and we're just being stupid. Like we have a limited number of points. We would blow through them at a normal kind. Like again, we're not staying at the Ritz-Carlton on this. We're staying at like a normal hotel. Also, we want to be able to cook at home. So living in a hotel for a month, that's a really hard thing. We're trying to get healthy. We've been sick for 7 weeks. Now we're finally feeling good. Like I'm ready to be cooking good food and exercising and just living a normal, healthy life. And I think I have a hard time doing that at a hotel. I know everyone doesn't. I do.
Yeah, and there's some hotel situations where you might have a kitchen. I think Marriott has residence in and things like that.
Not the same.
I know it's not the same, but it is a place where we could possibly go that you'd have that sort of situation. But we also looked at cash for hotels, and so I think I looked at a hotel that I was really interested in. I thought that they have a deal going on where it's like 20% off, and it was actually a nicer brand, a 4-star hotel. It's like $300 a night. So we're talking $6,000 a night, some crazy amount of money for a month.
Probably didn't include parking.
Probably didn't include parking. That's exactly. So it is just, so the other thing with all these world events that are going on, I've read throughout the travel industry is suffering right now, and that hotels are going to be putting deals out, and the airlines, we certainly have seen deals with airfare, but we can't find great deals with hotels.
We can't find any deals.
No,
we are not finding anything.
They're not deals, which is actually sort of strange, but we're still looking.
And of course, another alternative would be booking another house sit or a couple week-plus house sits. There aren't as many of them right now. Things are quickly changing, and I guess people are maybe not going on their trips or something like that. Maybe also leaving more house sitters looking for sits. So the moment that we got word that our sit canceled yesterday, we applied to a whole bunch of things immediately. Those applications haven't even been opened. So that's been over 24 hours, and that's kind of rare to have so many not opened in one shot. So we're open to a house sit. We're open to a week Airbnb, maybe 4 different week Airbnbs, because maybe then we can piece together a nice situation, but it's not going to come at a cheap cost.
It is not. So another plan that is completely, the doors closed on this for us would be to go back to our home, which we do not have. So Amy and I were having this conversation this morning, and Amy actually let the cat out of the bag that she's a little bit regretting the fact that we don't have a place to go back to. Right now. Yes. I have hit fatigue of like, I just want to chill out. I want to catch up to my thousands of unread emails and do all the blog posts that we're wanting to do and all kinds of stuff and just exercise, just do normal life and just chill out and binge watch TV. We are now looking at Airbnb for like 10 hours a day and not finding anything good. Yeah, so we're going to work through this and we will figure this out. But so even if we had a home, I'm assuming we wouldn't be able to go back there because we would have it leased out or something like that, or we would have to, for us in our Colorado situation, we would, I think we said this before, it cost about $1,000 for us to have this home that a month between all the bills and whatnot, to have this place that we actually owned. It cost us $1,000 a month.
We paid off.
That's what it paid off. Between taxes and HOA fees and utilities and insurance and all these things cost us that much money. So for $12,000, we can certainly go and spend some money on a hotel or something like that. We're going to make this work, and we're going to work through it. I think the thing is just being in a place for a longer period of time is what we have to do to have this settled feeling in our life. And we determined this through the process of this month, but the fact that this Orlando thing fell through for us, we just got on the other side. We have a nice 8 days here in Phoenix. We're gonna have 2 weeks in Louisiana, and then we're gonna make our way over to Orlando.
Chill.
We're gonna be there for a month and chill. And no, so it's
no chill for you.
No chill for us. And so we've got to figure out what this is gonna look like, and it's gonna probably cost us some money, and we're signed up for making that happen. But I think we're just going to have to figure out what the bullet's going to look like when we bite it, and we've got to figure out what that is.
So there you go. We leave New Orleans on Saturday after this video comes out, and then we are in one place, as Tim mentions, in New Orleans for just over 2 weeks. Where we go doesn't have any internet, and we're staying in a friend's home who won't be there, so it's a really lovely thing that she's offered us our home, but it does not have internet, so we're going to need to hustle and get a whole bunch of videos done while we're here, so you're going to see the same Phoenix place for weeks and weeks and weeks. We're still only here for 1 week, and we're hoping to take that time in New Orleans with no internet as like a digital detox, I guess, and just, we could still be on our phone a little bit, but not like we are on Wi-Fi. So hopefully we get our 2 weeks with that, and we just get to like catch our breath. And my goodness, if you are considering the nomadic life, maybe you should go to a fortune teller and make sure that world events aren't going to be like the worst they've ever been in over a decade, and that your timing is better than ours because we picked like the worst.
Yeah, and we're going to work through this as well. So it's definitely a challenge and something that we'll figure out what happens on the other side of this. I think there's the silver lining here is that I think this is I'm going to say this and then I'll knock on wood, but this is about as bad as it can get. So it's like the fact that we've had all these sits cancel and that things are just changing so much, that dynamic, I think this will clear up and our life will be a little bit more like we had designed it here in the
hopefully
near future.
A lot more. But we are in spectacular weather. If you haven't been to Phoenix in March, it is absolute perfection. It is orange blossom season and the air smells like candy. Oh my goodness, it smells so great. It's 75 degrees. So the good news is we've been in good weather. I guess that's the good news, and we are together and now we are healthy again. So we're real happy about that. So next week you will be seeing our February numbers, and we are still excited to share those with you.
And there's good news in those numbers too, by the way.
There is good news. Yeah. There's mixed news, mostly good.
Yes.
Let's say that. So stay tuned, and please subscribe, hit the like, and ring the notification bell, and we'll see you Wednesday.
Adios.